Well, thanks for being with me here today. It's kind of fun hanging out at Geekdom.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So wanted to just start off by asking you, a couple of years ago, San Antonio EDF rolled up SA Works and Free Trade Alliance under your umbrella. And tell me the reasoning behind that and kind of what you feel like is complementary to the vision and the mission of SAEDF.
Sure. Well, let me start by saying that the mission of the Economic Development Foundation has always remained consistent, and that's to produce quality jobs for the San Antonio community. To do that, though, our suite of services has evolved drastically.
Right.
And I would say that, we were founded over 40 years ago, and we were solely focused at that time on attraction or recruitment of business. Mm-hmm. And today, as the world around us has changed, we've realized that to be competitive, we also have to be focused on global development.
Right.
Hence the integration of the Free Trade Alliance, a local organization that was focused on trade and export development.
Right.
And workforce development.
Right.
And so SA Works was providing a value, a niche value in workforce development, and that's one of our priorities. So it made sense to consolidate resources to maximize effectiveness, quite honestly.
Mm-hmm. Well, and it feels like our ecosystem is getting bigger as well, because I know, and it's one of the reasons why we wanted to visit today, you're in the middle of a strategic planning process. And that includes looking, I think, at things more on a regional basis. Mm-hmm. So tell me, from the standpoint of our viewers, what they can expect, how they can be involved in the process, but also let's talk a little bit too about the regional growth and ecosystem that you're looking at now.
Well, our region is one of the fastest growing regions in the country. Right. Any given day, we're either number 1 or number 3, and that's great, but we've got to make sure that that growth is thoughtful and strategic. And the only way to do that is to come together to bring all the different allies that are focused on similar goals to the table to help develop that cohesive strategy so that we're not functioning in silos. So first and foremost, I think coming together and aligning around common goals is the ultimate priority. Folks can engage in the process in a variety of ways. We've got a leadership group that's helping drive the strategy and representative of industries across the region. Mm-hmm. We've got a group of practitioners. So my counterpart in New Braunfels and my counterpart in Schertz, they're at the table helping advise the ultimate implementation plan.
And that's something new.
It's totally new.
Yes.
Yeah, it's totally new. And then downstream, we're actually going to be relying on folks in the community to challenge the plan, to challenge our perspectives, and then rally around the change. Like, what do we need to do to be a top-tier economy? And let's do it. Let's stop saying it. You know, we've got to step up and start acting our size as a community and as a region. Mm-hmm. I think folks are ready for it. I certainly am.
That's great. Let's turn just a second, too, and talk about, when we were kind of talking about our region, when you look at Austin, very tech, when you look at Houston, energy, what do you feel like our region, as far as our targets are, and how do you feel our community is doing with the lead of SAEDF in attracting those targeted industries?
Mm-hmm. So San Antonio's greatest strength is diversity, and that takes form in so many different ways, but specifically as it relates to industry diversity, it's what's allowed San Antonio to be borderline recession-proof, right? So as it relates to the target industries that we're looking to pursue, cybersecurity is number one. We are uniquely positioned, second only to really the capital region in the DC area. San Antonio has more cybersecurity assets here, and that's due in large part to the military. We're Military City, USA, and so we've got some significant assets here on the security side of the house, but also on the life sciences side of the house. And so if I were to step back and articulate our top 3 industries, they would be cybersecurity, life sciences, and manufacturing. EDF, part of your question was, what does EDF do and how are we doing in recruiting for those different industries? And we've been doing a great job over the last several years, but here of late, we have turned our attention to true target sector development. But if we really want to differentiate ourselves and build out on our brand as a community, we have to be focused on what industries we think we can win. And cybersecurity, life sciences, and manufacturing, those are the industries.
It feels like we're going in the right direction, absolutely, and that we are building more of a micro community to be able to feed into the economic development.
I'm so glad you said that. You know, as an organization, we have for the last several decades, we've been so transaction oriented, but you can only do so much here on the transaction side and on the sales side without focusing on the product that you're selling, right? And so if we truly want to do bigger and better deals, we've got to improve our product.
Right.
And so community development has become the focus. And if you just think about where San Antonio is moving, I believe that we've got to be a community of preference for young professionals.
Yes, the livability factor.
It's huge because you can chase companies all day long, but those companies are chasing talent.
That's right.
And if we can be that hub for young, talented professionals, I work myself out of a job because companies will start chasing them here.
So break it down for me. Give me for the next 12 months, what's your priority for SAEDF?
That's a good question. So we are, let's think here, we are midway into the year, and we've had a great first half of the year. So if you think back to the last 2 years, we've worked about 50 projects, a total of about 13,000 jobs and about a $22 billion economic impact, and we're extremely proud of that. But if you look at this year, we're set and we're positioned to not only meet our annual key performance indicators, but we'll exceed them. And that's something that we're all very excited about. But your question was, where are we going? And so my head is already turned towards what's next, beyond our 2020 targets. And that's why this strategic plan is so important. And so our priorities as an organization are pretty simple: global economic development and regionalism. And so over the next several months, so 6 months to a year, we'll be working on developing this regional strategy for our community so that we can be globally competitive. But bringing all the folks together, herding all of the cats will be a challenge. I just think now is the right time. We've got momentum on our side, and we've got to do it. Because I say this a lot, but in the next 2 to 3 years, the decisions that we make as a community from a policy perspective and operational perspective are going to forever change the trajectory of San Antonio. So we're figuring out over the next 2 years who we want to be when we grow up. And I want to be a top-tier community, and this effort, I believe, will help position us to get there.
It's an exciting time, and we appreciate your leadership, your organization's leadership in helping to drive our community and to drive our economic development. And thank you again, too, for being here with us today.
Thank you.
This was fun. It's always good catching up with you.
Thanks for what you do in San Antonio as a CEO and business leader as well.
Thank you. Thank you.
Lots of fun.
Lots of fun.